Hello. In this video, I'm going to discuss the final 11 poems from Prince Koresada's poetry contest. Let's get started. Akikaze ni nami ya tatsuramu ama no kawa suguru mamo naku tsuki no nagururu. Might it be the autumn wind that has raised the waves upon the river of heaven? There's no space to pass for the moon flowing by. This poem brings in three different symbols of the autumn season: the wind, the river of heaven, that is the Milky Way, and the moon. The poet imagines heaven's river to be just like an earthly one, with its surface whipped into the waves by the wind. The waves are so rough, he says, that the moon will be unable to make its way across the sky. Now, reading this, I get the impression of him looking up at the sky and seeing the clouds passing by, obscuring his view of the moon and the stars above, but that may just be my imagination. Tsuki mireba, chiji ni mono koso kanashikere, wagami hitotsu no aki ni wa aranedo. When I gaze upon the moon, so many are my sources of sadness, though it is not I alone who is faced with autumn. This poet adopts a pose which was to become a familiar one in later waka. I know I am not the only one enduring autumn, he says, but for me, the sadness is more intense. Gazing up at the bright and perfect moon in the sky, all of his sorrows strike him harder. In one sense, this is quite a conceited poem, with the poet claiming a special emotional connection to the season due to his unusual sensitivity. On the other hand, it's only human nature, when you're sad, to be wrapped up in your own concerns. So another way to look at it is just that the poem is being honest about how people behave. It's up to you whether you want to be charitable to him or not, but this type of artful construction of emotions is something which led to at least some modern critics to look down on the poetry of this period as artificial. That's not a view I share, of course. I think that the artifice is part of the pleasure of interpreting the expressions and senses. Yume no nochi munashiki toko araji kashi, aki no no naka mo koishi kari kere. After a dream of you, the emptiness of my bed I feel not, I think, for amid the autumn meadows I do love you still. This poem is a complete contrast to the previous one, with a passionate edge that could almost make it a love poem. The poet is out travelling and is spending the night some way away from home. He falls asleep and meets his lover in a dream, which makes him feel less lonely on waking and reaffirm his love. The old Japanese believed that your spirit actually left your body when you went to sleep, so meeting a lover in a dream was a powerful sign of attraction. Your spirits had actually sought each other out. There was even a belief that if you turned your clothing inside out and then slept in it, you were more likely to meet your lover in a dream. There's many poems mentioning that. Dreaming could also be dangerous, though, as it was possible for a person's spirit to commit crimes, even murder, while they slept. Probably the most famous literary example of this comes from Genji Monogatari, the tale of Genji, where the proud lady Rokujo has an affair with the protagonist Genji, but feels stricken with jealousy when he moves on to other women, with the result that her spirit attacks and kills three of them, including Genji's wife Aoi and his greatest love, Murasaki. Momijiba no tamareru kari no namida ni wa aki no tsuki koso kage o yadoshikere. The scarlet leaves clog the goose tears where it is the autumn moon's light finds lodging. If you've seen the earlier videos on this contest, then you'll know that geese were believed to weep tears of blood that turned the autumn leaves scarlet. Here, there's a profusion of these, illuminated by the light of the moon. Akikuto mo midori no kae de aramaseba, chirazu zo aramashi momiji naranedo. Autumn comes, yet the maples in green do display themselves, so I would you not scatter, for your leaves have not turned scarlet. This is a slightly unusual autumn poem, with its early reference to green maple leaves that have not yet turned scarlet. The fact that autumn has come without a change of colour suggests that this is one of those years when the calendar didn't match up to the season, and so it's officially autumn, but the weather hasn't caught up yet. 静は谷、恋はするでも、この人を待つ虫の寝ぞ、秋は悲しき。Peasants in the rice fields do fall in love, yet for a man who fails to come, I pine crickets, cries make autumn all the more sad. This poem is in the voice of a lady who's feeling very sorry for herself indeed. She's been expecting her lover to come to call, but the swine hasn't turned up. In her misery, she says plaintively that even the rough peasants get to experience love, but she has been denied it. The aristocracy, of course, weren't really interested in what the lives of the peasantry were actually like. In fact, they didn't really regard them as the same species as themselves, but the trope of people from the lower classes was one which was much used in poetry. I've translated the word used in the poem, shizu, as rough peasants, because it carries connotations of physical labour and thus vitality, which gives an added spur to the sense of frustrated passion at the beginning of the poem. The poem also uses the name of an insect, the pine cricket, matsumushi, as what's termed a pivot word, kakekotoba, in that the first part of it, matsu, is used with a dual sense. So we have both kono hito o matsu, pine for a man who does not come, and matsumushi no ne, pine cricket's cries. This type of wordplay, where a poem switched tack around a word with a dual meaning, was quite common in waka, but is usually a challenge to represent in English translation. Aki no mushi nado wa bishige ni koi no suru, tanomeshi kage ni tsuyu ya mori kuru. Why do the autumn insects and more let out plaintive cries? Is your trustworthy face drenched in dew? This poem's key expression is nado, which is both why and a word meaning and other things. Its usage is deliberate because it makes you wonder what, or rather who, it is that's crying as well as the crickets. The answer is, of course, the poet. Trustworthy is used ironically, as the implication is that the poet to whom the poem is addressed is anything but. Drenched in dew, tsuyu ya mori kuru, alludes to tears being shed by the poet as a result of their lover's cruelty. Who is it who's crying? Why, it's me. Is your face as soaked with tears as mine is? The implication is that the answer to this question is certainly not, because you don't care for me as I care for you. Momijiba no nagarete yukeba yamagawa no asaki sedani mo aki wa fukaminu. The scarlet leaves have come flowing, so the mountain stream's shallow rapids, even they are deep in autumn. After the emotional intensity of the previous poem, we retreat to a simple seasonal scene of a mountain stream clogged with scarlet autumn leaves, the sight of which only serves to emphasise to the poet that autumn is truly here. There's an artful semantic contrast between the use of shallow rapids, which are deep in autumn too. Momijiba no nagaruru aki wa kawa goto ni nishiki arao to hito wa miru ramu. The scarlet leaves flow, and in autumn by every river washing their brocade, folk can be seen. Another poem here, using the conceit that the autumn leaves were brocade, nishiki. There's so many fallen and flowing down the river that it's as if the people were all washing their valuable cloth all at once. Hishi kureba yoru no mo mekareji kiku no hana akisugi nureba ao beki monoka. When the day is here, at night you do escape my sight, O chrysanthemums. When autumn has passed by, I wonder, shall we meet again? This poem's topic is the seasonal flower, the chrysanthemum. It's a rhetorical address to the blues themselves, asking if they'll survive into the winter that lies beyond autumn. Of course, the answer is no, which adds a touch of sadness, but we, and the poet, know that all we have to do is wait for the season to roll around again. 梅雨ながら降りてかささむ菊の花、お伊勢の秋の久しかるべき。Dew-dappled, let us pluck and wear chrysanthemum blooms, that an autumn of eternal youth should last forever. Finally, we have a chrysanthemum festival poem. This festival took place on the 9th day of the 9th month, and it was customary to collect the dew from the plants to drink, eat foodstuffs made with them, and present them as gifts, and, of course, wear them, all to ward off ill health. It's these customs that the poem is referring to. On that celebratory note, the contest comes to an end. I hope you've enjoyed it, but if you have any questions about anything, then post them in the comments or drop me an email. See you again soon.